Hey, everybody, off the Mike Sports Network here. Another edition of At the Top Rope. SmackDown was very interesting. We talked about it in just a big picture overview. But one of the big points of this show involved John Cena. And you guys who have paid attention to me, if there's one thing I've been critical about, a lot of people think I'm a WWE, Fed drone, I'm a simp or whatever. Um, I've been very critical of this John Cena heel turn. I think it was botched. I think, the Rock involvement or lack thereof has really kind of messed with it. Um, and in large, like some of the matches, like the match with Randy at Backlash was very interesting. Having him team with Logan Paul was weird, but I think we might have hit a point where this thing has been resuscitated, and it was going off the track a little bit, and now I think we've gotten back on the track, on the train tracks, and we've got to thank one Philip Jack Brooks and also one Ron Killings, because whatever the direction of this was before we got to before we got to Money in the Bank and now after Money in the Bank, whatever their plan was, it wasn't going very well. And now CM Punk is now making me a believer out of this feud with him and John Cena, despite them having to wrestle in Saudi Arabia and CM Punk seemingly being a hypocrite. Like that's the part of it that rubs me the wrong way. But CM Punk was in his bag tonight. He was in his bag tonight with some of the barbs that he was throwing at him, saying they were both goats, putting him on the Spitfire, or like the pot, like almost like just on the roast or whatever. Like he was going at John Cena circa 2011. It wasn't the pipe bomb, but it was damn good. It was really good. And then Ron Killings, who a month ago was R-Truth and was on his way out of the company, is now genuinely the most interesting thing in WWE. And his involvement with John Cena, he's now got a match on SmackDown with John Cena. Ron Killings. Like, yeah, these are non-title matches, but John Cena, despite like seemingly, and John Cena was really good on the microphone. He had some of his best promo work of the entire year as a heel, like in terms of it didn't feel like the same recycled like you people garbage and basically just telling down the fans. Like he was basically detailing his whole idea. Hey, you guys thought that you were one step ahead of me with hey, the elimination chamber. I knew that Punk and Rollins were going to take each other out. And then Cody didn't take advantage of his opportunity. He was focused on the final boss, and I screwed him over. And then, he was more absorbed to being the good guy at WrestleMania, and then the whole Randy Orton thing. And then, I teamed up with Logan Paul. I've always been one step ahead of you. And then, hey, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight come out, and then Ron Killings is there. So listen, this thing was going nowhere. Like this thing was just kind of just like, they were kind of pissing through the wind here, and they were just kind of just, spinning their wheels, just hoping for something to stick. And then Punk comes in here out of nowhere. We didn't know what John Cena's direction for Night of Champions was going to be. And here it is. Yeah. Does it bother me that this match is happening in Saudi Arabia? Yeah. But John Cena tapping into, hey, I'm going to make you be, and Punk is doing his best to make this, actually work, and saying, hey, listen, you're trying to ruin wrestling. I'm trying to save it for wrestling. Listen, you're starting to sound a lot like me, and I'm starting to sound a lot like you, circa 2011. Like it's the dynamics there, and leave it to CM Punk to save something. Leave it to CM Punk to just save something that was completely going off the rails. And then credit to Ron Killings, man. Credit to R-Truth. This guy was on the unemployment line literally a week ago. He did not have a job. He was negotiating with WWE. We didn't know that. And now he has come in, and in the span of a week has become one of the most interesting people just by, the whole John Cena thing, and then him being gone. And now they're weaving it back into the John Cena thing. Like, I didn't have CM Punk and Ron Killings, aka formerly known as R-Truth, FKA known as R-Truth, resuscitating what was supposed to be one of the company's biggest angles of 2025. Now, I don't know where this is going, because very clearly I don't foresee CM Punk winning the world championship. I do not see him winning the WWE title in Saudi Arabia. I just don't see that happening. Now, what could happen is we could get some ridiculous finish. You guys remember the famed Night of Champions 2012 finish where it was the double pinfall off the superplex, and I believe that was in Boston in Cena's hometown. Or home state because he's from West Newbury, but he says he's from Boston. So um, they could roll that back. They could roll back that finish and basically do something weird. They could do whatever the hell they want as far as they're concerned. I mean, hell, they don't have to do. I mean, they probably should do that as the main event, but you could easily, if it's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton for the King of the Ring, they could easily have that be the main event. And if there's some sort of bullshit finish, could set the stage potentially for Punk and Cody to challenge Cena for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. So this was going nowhere. This Cena heel turn was, to me, like I said, it was not good. It was not a very good run for him because Cena just did not come across. He was not giving any substance whatsoever to any of his motives whatsoever. And then tonight he comes out there at the top of the show. It started to sound like one of those old promos, and then he just started to go through everything and just take us through the entire ride since the heel turn back in March. And now here we are 3 months later. This is the most interesting John Cena has been, and it's credit to Ron Killings, because Ron Killings and like his whole narrative and him beating the shit out of Cena twice in one night is a big deal. It's the best that Ron Killings, R-Truth, has ever looked in WWE. It's crazy in his mid 50s that he's still doing, or in his early to mid 50s, he's still, a top level performer. It's just WWE never gave him a chance to do this. And this was kind of just out of thin air. And then of course, CM Punk, I've been telling you guys this forever. He is one of the best ever. And no matter what you AEW fans want to tell me, that guy is just a value piece to any wrestling company that he is in. And everybody will want to try and, create this narrative that he's a hypocrite, that, he talked about blood money. Now he's going to go do this. But it's going to be interesting to see the way that they take this down the road to get to Saudi Arabia. Because I'm genuinely interested to see where this goes, because Cena could still, create this narrative. Hey, Punk, you've said that you don't want to do this, and they're weaving that into the storyline. But they're making me believe that this is actually a real thing. And it's a credit to a lot of the performers there, because listen, the Cody Rhodes stuff, I don't know where they wanted to go with that. Part of me is just convinced that, Cena was going to and the reporting was there that Cena was going to turn at WrestleMania, and maybe that would have landed a lot better. But this was the first time in a while where I've actually been like, man, that actually worked. Like that, none of this felt forced. Everything felt like it mattered. Everything felt like it made sense. All the pieces were there. Ron Killings played his role well. CM Punk played his role well, just because CM Punk is a gift to professional wrestling. And then John Cena, for the first time really since he turned heel, felt like a heel. He didn't feel like a generic, just, villain. Like he felt like, a smartass and like a prick. Like some people have enjoyed this, but this was really the first time in his entire heel run where I was like, man, that actually, I actually bought into John Cena. So like I said, I give credit to CM Punk. I give credit to Ron Killings for making this, thing not feel as formulaic as it has felt since WrestleMania. Really since Elimination Chamber. So yeah, really interesting night on SmackDown. We'll have a lot more here on the channel, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.